Welcome to the Perceptor_portal, where we delve into the fascinating world of the human brain. Today, we'll explore how the brain works and understand its complexities. Our journey will cover an introduction to the brain, its anatomy, functions, and how to maintain brain health. Let's get started. The brain is an extraordinary and complex organ that serves as the control center for the entire body. It orchestrates everything we do, think, and feel. Let's take an overview of the brain to understand its major components and their roles. The brain is divided into several key components: the telencephalon, diencephalon, brainstem, and cerebellum. Each part has unique functions essential for our daily lives. The brainstem is a crucial structure that connects the cerebrum and spinal cord. It plays a vital role in regulating consciousness, sleep, and various bodily functions. Most people have a dominant left cerebral hemisphere, making them right-handed. This dominance affects speech production and can influence the impact of strokes. The cerebrum is the largest part of the brain, divided into 2 hemispheres and 4 lobes. It is responsible for higher brain functions like thought and action. The cerebrum is divided into 2 hemispheres, each containing 4 lobes. These lobes are crucial for various cognitive and sensory functions. The cerebral cortex is the outermost layer of the cerebrum, composed of gray matter. It plays a key role in memory, attention, perception, and consciousness. The cerebral cortex features gyri, sulci, and fissures. These structures increase the brain's surface area, allowing for more complex neural connections. Here, we can see the gyri, sulci, and fissures on the brain's surface. These structures are essential for the brain's functionality and organization. Let's look at specific sulci and fissures, such as the central sulcus, longitudinal fissure, and sylvian fissure, which divide the brain into distinct regions. The brain is divided into 4 main lobes: frontal, parietal, occipital, and temporal. Each lobe has specialized functions that contribute to our overall brain activity. The frontal lobe is crucial for memory formation, emotions, decision-making, and personality. It is located deep to the frontal bone of the skull. The frontal lobe is responsible for initiating and executing voluntary movements. It also contains Broca's area, essential for speech production. The frontal lobe includes the primary motor cortex, Broca's area, and the orbitofrontal cortex. These regions control movement, speech, and emotional responses. This detailed view highlights the primary motor cortex, Broca's area, orbitofrontal cortex, and olfactory bulb, showing their specific locations and functions. The parietal lobe is key for processing sensory information and spatial awareness. It helps us understand our body's position in space and our surroundings. The parietal lobe includes the primary somatosensory cortex, somatosensory association cortex, and primary gustatory cortex. These areas process touch, proprioception, and taste. The parietal lobe is crucial for processing sensory information from the body. It helps us feel touch, temperature, pain, and body position. Damage to this area can impair our ability to recognize objects by touch and can lead to sensory inattention on the opposite side of the body. Here, we see the primary somatosensory cortex and the sensory association cortex within the parietal lobe. These areas are responsible for receiving and integrating sensory information. The occipital lobe, located deep to the occipital bone, is primarily responsible for vision. It processes and interprets visual stimuli, allowing us to understand what we see. The primary visual cortex in the occipital lobe is essential for recognizing size, color, light, motion, and dimensions. The visual association area helps interpret this information. This image highlights the primary visual cortex and the visual association area within the occipital lobe, showing their locations and functions. The temporal lobes, located on the sides of the brain, are key for hearing, language comprehension, and memory formation. They play a vital role in processing auditory information and retrieving memories. The primary auditory cortex is responsible for hearing, while the primary olfactory cortex interprets smells. Wernicke's area, located in the left temporal lobe, is crucial for language comprehension. Damage here can lead to Wernicke's aphasia, affecting language understanding and production. The temporal lobe contains centers for hearing, taste, and smell perception. It is essential for memory function, and damage can lead to memory impairment and temporal lobe epilepsy. This image shows the primary auditory cortex, Wernicke's area, and the primary olfactory cortex within the temporal lobe, highlighting their locations and functions. The arcuate fasciculus is a white matter tract connecting Broca's area and Wernicke's area, facilitating coordinated speech. Damage can result in conduction aphasia, where speech comprehension is intact, but repeating heard speech is difficult. This diagram provides an overview of the brain's lobes, including the frontal, parietal, temporal, and occipital lobes, as well as the cerebellum. Each cerebral hemisphere processes sensory information and sends motor commands to the opposite side of the body. While the hemispheres have different functions, they work together for overall brain function. The prefrontal cortex is the most complex brain region, coordinating information from all other areas. It is crucial for intellect, planning, reasoning, mood, and predicting consequences. Functional differences exist between the left and right hemispheres. The left hemisphere typically handles reading, writing, math, and logic, while the right hemisphere is involved in recognition, spatial reasoning, and artistic skills. In a humorous scenario, doctors might stimulate the primary motor cortex, which controls voluntary movements, to elicit a response. This graphic shows the primary motor cortex and primary sensory cortex, illustrating their roles in controlling and sensing different body parts. Thank you for watching this presentation on the brain's structure and functions. We hope you found it informative and engaging.